It's Bubba here. How y'all doing? We're back over here on the Euro side of the whole deal today. We are gonna take a little trip. We're sitting here in Birmingham, and we're sitting out and we're seeing if we can't figure out how to get over to a different part of the world. We're gonna go over toward Leicester. Leicester. I think it's pronounced Leicester. I think that's how you say it. I'm trying to get better at pronouncing stuff like you know old Bubba does, because if I'm going to be spending time over here in his country,
Keep left and then turn left.
To number one, remember which side of the road I'm supposed to be driving on.
Turn left.
And number two, try not to drive out in front of these little cars. Try not to bust the hell out of them. And I can see right now I need to work on adjusting my steering here too, because we're sitting here on a gamepad and I got it set way too high right now. Woo! This thing is so...
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
We're going to see if we can fix this. I'll be right back. Alrighty, things are definitely better here. We're not jerking nearly as badly over the road as we were doing a second ago. Alright, let's see if we can get on through this thing without wrecking anything, though. I think we're safe to go since that little red car drove on past us like that. I think we should be pretty safe to pull on out ourselves.
Now.
What the hell's going on with that thing? He can't figure out what the hell he's doing, can he? Probably because he's seeing such a manly driven truck here. Y'all notice we're in a different truck? We're in a man now, you know?
Keep left and then turn left.
Actually, I don't know if I should be saying that. If I say I'm in a man, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I also need to see if I can get my whoops. That is not center steering. I'm sitting on a gamepad. I haven't played here in a while, and I ain't never played on a gamepad over here at my house. But I just didn't feel like setting up the wheel. So that's why we're getting all discombobulated here. Getting into a conniption. But what I want to tell y'all as I'm sitting here doing all this is that we are over here on the Euro side because I decided I need to come over here for a little bit for ancestral purposes. I joined that excuse me. I ain't had talk like G-Bub in a while either. I joined that Ancestry.com thingy, and we got to searching our family tree back, and I found out that like 3 members of my family had already joined there and had been chasing it back for a long time now, and they managed to track us back to the 13th century. They tracked us back, our fathers to fathers to fathers, all the way back to about 1280 or 1260. And we found out knowing that we're from, like I said, Leicestershire, I think it's how y'all say it. Y'all gotta have a little bit of pity on us little Georgia rednecks here, because I gotta tell you the truth, it's like, I can almost...
Keep right and then continue straight on.
Now, does keep right mean that I need to get over in that other lane? I think it does. Let's see if we can get on past this little dude right here. There we go. Sorry, other little dude. We had to go straight. Oh, let's not wreck my new truck. There we go. But yeah, we found out we're from Leicester originally. And it's like, studying all that stuff, they found out that my people came over here. I won't say they came to the States, but they came over here to the colonies just about 1700, from what we can tell. There's a ancestor of ours that moved from Leicester to Lancaster long about 1680, and he died over here in Virginia long about died over here in Virginia long about
Go straight on.
1730 or so. So sometime between 1680 and 1730, he came to Virginia. And that's probably about the last time you'll notice anything named Virgin in my family, because there ain't too many of them. Not after they hit 12 anyway. But anyway, that's it. And before that, before Lancaster, they lived in Leicester. And they lived in Leicester for a very long time. They lived in Leicester for hundreds of years. In fact, there is a manor house. I can't remember the name of it. It don't exist. It got torn down in the 60s. Y'all apparently had as crazy a time of that whole urban renewal crap as we did, where they just tore everything down just because it was old. There's something here in Athens. You know, I live here in Athens, and I'll tell you what, it's just as bad here. You know, the fact that there's all these old places, that all these old towns, I got this thing called a pictorial history, and it's got all these like Victorian mansions and that kind of stuff, and all these beautiful old buildings that just don't exist here because they all got torn down in the 1960s.
And then continue straight on.
For no other reason than the fact they were old, and they replaced them with parking lots and convenience stores. Isn't that wonderful?
Go straight on.
I tell you, those people in the 60s, they might have had this, they might have had it, they might have had some decent ideas, but their let's say their actualization, they're carrying out those ideas, the way those ideas actually carried forth from being an idea to being the North, Sheffield, Newcastle, and Edinburgh. Well, we're not heading to the North. We're going to stay here in the Midlands, because we're trying to get as close as we can to Leicester here on the map, because this is our part of the country. This is God's part of the country before we move to God's country. It's right around here. I was wondering if there'd be an exit saying Leicester or something that was blocked off, but they didn't quite do that. Over here in America, you know, on the ATS side, you'll see that. You'll see they'll have exits that don't lead nowhere.
You have arrived at your destination.
There we go.
Your
This is
route
about.
guidance is now finished.
Looks like this is as close to Leicester as we can get. So yeah, we'll just sit here for the moment. I'm gonna put it in park. There we go. I'm gonna turn the engine off, and we'll just put it in park here and say that, yeah, this is where we're from. Somewhere right along in this area. We lived here, and we lived in a manor house. Like I said, that manor house right here that got torn down in the 60s. And it's like, I want to know what part happens. What kind of decisions do you make in your life where you go from living in a manor house to being dumb, poor Georgia redneck sharecroppers, you know? What has to go wrong in your life for you to end up here? I swear. Woo! But that's it. But knowing that we used to do that, knowing that we were here in Leicestershire, and that just kind of helps out, because, you know, Bubba, he lives over there in Lancastershire, over there in that neighborshire over here. And that means that if you look back, I'll bet we keep looking, I bet we really are cousins. And that makes it good. That makes him married into the family, since he married my sister wife cousin. That makes him an actual cousin, most likely. And if he's an actual cousin, that's great, because that means that he was okay marrying a cousin into the family here. So it's all working out fine. The only bad part is, I gotta tell you, Bubba, now that you actually a relative, now that you actually a cousin, that means now that you're really a cog binder. That means Granny Cogbinder, she's gonna quit taking it easy on you. You know, it's bad enough whenever you were just married into the family, she doesn't, you know, hold you to the family rules quite as badly. But now that we know that you're a member of the family, let me just put it this way. You think being in the mafia is rough? You think how it is, how you can't leave the family when you're in the mafia? You ain't figured out what it's gonna be like now that you're a real cogbinder. So that's it. I just wanted to say y'all that, tell y'all that, and to explain to y'all as well that I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna be cheering for Leicester now that Leicester is like my. Now that Leicester is like legit my my team now. Now that I got an actual team to cheer for, because you know my wife and my son, they sit there and they cheer. They're big fans of the Premier League, but they cheer for anybody. It's like they used to have a team, but now it's like they'll cheer for one team one week, and then the next week they'll cheer against that team because they don't like somebody on that team and all that, and they're constantly flip-flopping. They ain't got no loyalty to anything. But now that I've got an ancestral team, I'm going to be cheering for them. In fact, I'll be cheering for them today because Leicester's going to play Man City, and we're going to beat the Pets off of Pep, even if we are about to get relegated. But anyway, that's all. I'm going to tell y'all, I ain't going to let it go to my head or anything. I'm not going to go overboard or anything like that with it. Y'all can trust me, because I ain't that kind of person. I'm not going to go nuts about it or anything. So we'll just tell y'all that, and thank y'all for coming with us.